Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Wave podcast here at the Culture Wave Media Network, and we are here to discuss Volume 4 of Netflix's Love, Death, and Robots. This is one of my favorite Netflix original series. It's an interesting kind of amalgamation of these animated shorts. Some are directed. It's produced by David Fincher. It's also created by Tim Miller. So excited to jump into this volume. I'm going to be one of your hosts. My name is Darian Sean. I am joined this time by Sean Villa.
What's going on, everybody?
Sean, we were really excited for this. We were excited for the return of this series. I think it's been a few years, I think.
Yeah, I think it's been 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, since we had that kind of the last installment of this. But I think overwhelmingly the internet is in agreement with how we feel, where this is probably, unfortunately, the worst installment of the series thus far.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the weakest volume. I don't think it's by like a huge margin or anything. I think that with time, it's healed some of the old wounds that I've had with this show, where I'm like, volume 2 isn't that bad. And like, that's got the same kind of level of stinkers. I think the problem here is that in most other volumes, I have like 2 or 3 that I think are really good.
Like major standouts.
Yeah, huge standout episodes. And here, as we'll get into, I just have one that I think is great. And the rest of them vary from like okay and like watchable to bad. Which kind of sucks because this is, as you said, this is a show that I really like. And I think anthology on Netflix has kind of been popping off, especially with Black Mirror's coming out. I love, that we get varied animation every volume. It's just a show that I love to watch, and I'm like eager for it to come out. I'm also a Fincher head, big time. So anything Fincher's involved in, I give a watch. But yeah, no, I think this is a great show generally.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are a lot of standout episodes where I can like go back and remember the first time I watched it, and then I've returned to it multiple times. And I don't know, you didn't watch Secret Level, right, on Amazon?
No, I watched a few Secret Levels.
Okay,
I
because
watched, like the Warhammer one.
Yeah, and like we talked about it. I think it was me, you, and Mark, right, Vinny? Yeah, Vinny's producing this. But so that was a show that we were like really disappointed with, because we were like, oh, like it seems like they're doing the same animation style for so much of it, and also like they're not really building off of anything. And with this volume in particular of Love, Death, and Robots, I felt very similar, where like not even the storylines were that engaging, and for a lot of the episodes, there's not even really a story. It's just like a scenario with animation, and it's not very compelling.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of what Love, Death, and Robots is to me, the ones that I think are just good, which is the majority of these are just sort of like a flat good, are things that would be really interesting as features, because they have great concepts, but they don't have the time to actually do much with them. One of my favorite examples is it might be volume 3, maybe volume 2, but there's one that involves like it's like an interstellar civilization, and they're on like this moon, but the moon is run by like a hive mind of different aliens. And then there was some kind of big twist. It's been a while. But I remember
2022, by the way.
Yeah,
it's been 3 years since volume 3. Yeah.
So that episode, I thought, where it was like leaving off, I remember thinking like, wow, that's like really cool. This could be like an awesome film. But that's it. So, it kind of depends on who you are, as like what you want to judge on the merit of a TV show that gives you something really promising and is never going to fulfill it. Because the concepts are often very cool, and I think some of the concepts here are cool, but they don't really, get to conclude.
Yeah, and I don't think they don't have the same sort of longer runway to like a lot, like even and we'll go into our rankings, but like one in particular where like I like the world, but then it like kind of whimpers as an episode is the Screaming of the Tyrannosaur.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, I'm like, oh, this world is really cool. I like how they have like the high society drinking the blood of the victims, and like it was just an interesting sort of world they put you in. But then it's like, oh, that's just kind of the end, and that's kind of where like they leave you.
I feel almost the same way about 400 Boys.
Okay.
I think is great world building. But then when it concludes, I'm kind of left with like, damn, I like want to know more. Like, you just kind of teased me.
Yeah,
I would rather like not have even known this world existed.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, I mean, if you want to get into the rankings,
so this is the first time. Well, we've done, like I said, the other anthology series before with Secret Level, but for this one, we're gonna do a little different. This was Sean's suggestion, so thank you, Sean, for suggesting this. But we're gonna basically go from worst to best, from 10 all the way to 1, and kind of see where our lists stack up against each other and where we kind of feel. And I also have the Screen Rant list up that I'll talk about at the end. I'll kind of go through it at the very end and we can see where they kind of end up. But
okay.
Do you want to start first or you want me to?
You're the host, man.
Listen, man, we're hosting together.
Give me number 10.
Number 10 for me is Golgotha.
Okay. Me too.
Okay.
Great.
Now I will say before we started rolling, I only looked at what was 10 for Screen Rant, and it is overwhelmingly that's the answer. Now IMDb, interestingly enough, it has a higher score than Can't Stop, which.
Well, I understand, but whatever. We'll get to Can't Stop later.
Yeah. But this installment is one of the only ones that they've done. I think, like you said, there's only been one other one where they've mixed live action with some sort of animation, in this case CGI.
Yeah.
And it's not funny, and it tries to play like a comedic short. And the concept is almost nothingness. It's just kind of a preacher, or he's a priest.
Yeah.
And he goes to a beach, and there's this alien life form that's telling him about this higher being, and it's kind of a nothing conversation, and then they just decide that they're going to kill all the humans. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah, well, what tortures me about this episode, I mean, I'll just say first, this might be my least favorite of the whole show, honestly.
Me too.
I think a lot of the merit of this show as a medium is that it uses animation constantly. Every time I switch into an episode, even if I don't like the episode, I like the juxtaposition of going from like a 3D darkly animated thing to like a 2D stylized, like anime looking episode.
Yeah.
So going into live action from like a cool prior animation, it doesn't have the same like, well, I don't love the story, but at least it looks really cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that factor at all. And I also am tortured by how I think the concept of this could have been very cool for a Love, Death, and Robots episode, which is, I guess, like the log line is that a human priest has to go and discuss, I guess, like culture with an alien priest. And then, like, the budding of their religions. That's a fucking really cool idea for an episode.
Yeah.
I think, like, that could have been explored in a lot of different ways. High concept stuff like that is when Love, Death, Robots is at its best, I think, with episodes like Zima Blue, which is my absolute favorite. But instead, they try to make it like it's a joke about a dolphin who is like the alien's messiah. I've heard that this is based off of a poem or a short story.
Okay.
And maybe the like ideas explored a little bit better there. I haven't read it. But it's just sort of like a dumb punchline that is preceded by, I think, like 6 or 7 minutes of like building to the conversation with the alien. It just kind of feels like a mess. Like, I don't really understand what happened here or like what they were going for.
Yeah.
They also end it on the final line. I don't remember what it is, but the main character like looks at the camera and he says like, uh-oh, or like something stupid, and they try to play it like a big dramatic moment and it falls completely flat. Like an invasion comes out of nowhere. I just don't like really any part of it.
Yeah, I just don't think it's really effective in the way that they were trying to, like you said, it's a concept that on paper, it could be something really interesting. They could dive into it in a deeper sense. I don't love that it's quirky. Like, I think that it shouldn't have played quirky. And it's like, if you take Rhys Darby out of it and you put a more serious actor, then maybe you could have that side of it. I don't know if that's even something they were interested in. But there isn't a lot really for you to like sink your teeth into. Like, there's not enough that you kind of pull out of it from the actual presentation.
Yeah.
And for that, it's like you said, it's probably the most disappointing installment that we've had.
It's weak, man. It's weak. And I think what sucks about it is that, like I was saying, I think the majority of this show is it presents a concept that I love and does really cool world building, and it just doesn't have enough time to like expand and to do something cool. This one is the opposite, where it gives me a concept that I think is really stupid, which is usually the core strength of the show. And for that, I think it's just not only I think is it the worst of the season, I think it's one of the worst, if not the worst, of the show.
Yeah, I think the other part of it too is that, like you were talking about, some of the best installments of this show is when you dive into the things that have more depth behind it, which is when we get to my favorite. I thought it had a lot of depth for a lot of different reasons, that it told an interesting perspective. I don't want to spoil it, but this is very bare bones, and there's nothing, again, that you could really come away from and be like, oh, this, I took something away from this. You get none of that with this episode.
No, I agree with you. Do you want to go on to number 9?
Let's go to number 9. You can give me your number 9.
Yeah, let me check here. So I have, and this might be a controversial one, my second least favorite, Spider Rose.
Okay, that's definitely not my second least favorite.
Yeah, that is the space station with the woman
And the pet.
Yes, who adopts a young little alien pet that takes on features of its host, or I believe what it eats.
Yeah.
Right. So I was a little confused on what the alien was meant to represent. So this is an episode that I think is two halves, and I love one half, and I really don't like the other one.
Okay.
The half of this short that is about a woman coping with her trauma through the love of her pet, I think is great, because that's a really nice concept, and like a kind of like, I don't want to say cutesy, but it's sweet, that, you know, she's overcoming her trauma through a pet. That's something that like relates to people and is very good. And it's put in this like weird sci-fi world, so it makes it cool to look at and experience. The other half of this episode is a revenge story, and that does absolutely nothing for me. I don't know who that guy is. He killed the main character's husband, who I didn't know, I have no attachment to. They show like flashbacks like 4 times that don't give me anything for the character. It's just like a weird, like bright visual. And unfortunately, with the short runtime that this has, I think that takes up too much time. It ends in a conflict. I don't see how the revenge thing relates to the pet thing. And it just creates this weird, like, thematic disconnect that soured the initial promising concept for me.
Yeah, I think that the one thing that you touch on is why it's not higher on my list, but it's the fact that it is rushed. It feels like it's an episode that's rushed with a bigger concept in a season that has a lot of episodes that do not have a bigger concept, in my opinion. I don't have it that low. It's actually in my top 3. I won't tell you where it is in my top 3 yet. We'll get there.
I think that most people will agree with you. I don't personally love this one, but I can acknowledge the merit that it has. I think it looks really cool. Honestly, it just reminded me too much of, the hell's it called? Beyond the Aquila Rift. I think I nailed that. I think I just nerded out.
Is that from another episode?
Yeah, so that's
I have to go back and look.
That's the one with the guy who wakes up in the space station, and he finds out that he's actually like the prey of an alien that's making him relive his life.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love that one, and I think that one does a similar thing of like a lone person on a space station, kind of dealing with like their grief and their past in just a way better way. And this might even be the same like animation studio, because it looks very similar.
Yeah, it does.
And yeah, I don't know, it just feels very what's the word, like it steals from it. Derivative. There you go.
Yeah. I do think that it does a good job of setting up its world, though. That's kind of what I liked about it, and I liked the character designs. The thing with the pet, it's kind of playing into the tropes of, again, just loneliness and having that attachment to an animal of some sort or a creature that you fall in love with. I do think it's interesting. Again, I agree. I think the ending's kind of rushed, and you're just kind of like, oh, that was an interesting way to end it. Yeah. But I also think of the same way it's like in the personal side of it, where it's like you can love an animal so much, and then one day if you like do something, like I think about it, I have a cat. And the cats are very prominent in this season, not for a good purpose, I don't think. But I think about like, oh, like if I step on my cat's tail, it's like, oh, I nurture this animal. And then they're like, no, like, fuck you. I'm going to jump at you and I'm going to fucking scratch your eyes out. And so that was what I got from the ending of that. It's like, no matter how much you put into something, they could always respond in a different way.
Okay.
For survival, because that at the end of the day is like, they get into this situation where they're both there and they're like, well, we have no food. We're locked in here. And it's like, so I'm sorry.
And your animal betrays you.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
I like that interpretation at the ending, because I was trying to figure out what that meant from the view that I had on the theme of like something that you give emotional investment to could end up like destroying you. And I was trying to like figure if that relates to trauma. It's the same thing though, if I go with your interpretation of it, where I don't see how that really relates to the revenge story aspect of it.
Which is fair.
Yeah, which is just like this weird split narrative in a time where neither of them feels fleshed out. And I would have preferred if they just picked one, preferably the thing with the pet, which is what the episode's built around. But I mean, I don't hate it. I think I rated this one on Letterboxd like a 5 out of 10. So I'm like neutral on it. I wasn't like, it's just kind of like, all right, yeah, it's fine.
I am curious, before we go into the next ranking, like I said, like animals in general in this season are more prominent than ever before. I feel like a lot of cats, a lot of creatures, again, with dinosaurs. Was it too heavy-handed? Because I feel like the internet was like, all right, we get it. Like,
well, I think it's a lot of people are from like separate studios, as I understand. So it may just be coincidence that everyone wanted to make.
Or do you think
cat
it was
episode.
a theming thing? Do you think they were like Netflix was like, we want to do this whole season based on like creatures?
Yeah, I mean, it may well have been. We've gotten into volume 4, so I don't know if they've ever divvied it up like volume 1's about love, volume 2's about death. I don't think they've done that. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I've never gotten that sense.
Me neither.
From what we've seen, it's like more of a mix of the way that they're telling these stories, and maybe that's another part of the reason why we dislike it so much. It's like it feels like it's like you use the word derivative. It's like we're seeing the same thing over and over and over again, just being told in a different way.
A lot of these feel like lesser versions of prior episodes to me. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of creatures. I don't hate the creatures. I think the first episode that you get on Netflix in volume 1 is that one about the woman who can like link her mind to that big creature, and then they like fight in an arena.
Yes.
So like that's how they open the show. So I understand the like creature feature aspect of the show. It's just that a lot of the time they don't use the creatures in the same interesting way they use robots. Where a lot of times when they're talking about robots on this show, they're talking about like consciousness and relating them to people and can they love? Can they die? Are they even alive?
Yeah.
You know, we get like cool questions. That's sort of what the show's about. And with like a dinosaur, it's like, oh, cool, it's a dinosaur.
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't get like much of the thematic, you know.
Yeah, I totally
power.
agree. As I'm on IMDb right now and looking back at the past seasons, I'm just like, oh, man, there's so many good installments in past seasons. It's like now I just want to go back and watch all the other ones. But yeah, okay, moving on. Number 8.
Well, what's your number 9?
Oh, my number 9 is Smart Appliances, Stupid Owners.
Oh, okay.
I think it's fun. I think it's fun, but I think it's also just very plain. And I like the higher concept kind of things that we see in Love, Death, and Robots. The claymation was good. I mean, I love the voice acting in this episode is great.
Yes.
And that was the standout to me. But again, it's just too simple for me. Where I was like, okay, it's fine. I've seen things like this before.
Yeah. So I think I have this switched with you for Spider Rose. It's not my number 3. It's my we'll get there. But it's higher up. So what I like about this episode is that the concept is really dumb and really simple. But I honestly was like, it's about as good as it could have been. Like, and it's really an execution thing for me, where it's like, all right, this is not going to be like a crazy episode of the show, but for what it is, which is a really silly little like comedic sketch, basically, I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I was laughing at a lot of different points in this. It's very short. It's very quick.
What's your favorite appliance?
Oh, dude, the shower head.
Showerhead's a good one. Showerhead's a good one. I love the waffle maker.
The waffle maker's hilarious. Of like he's gonna die a waffle maker virgin.
A virgin waffle maker.
Virgin waffle maker is really funny. The toothbrush one where he like starts going on a rant about the owner, I thought was really funny. That's what I'm saying. That's 3 already. There's like 5 here.
The comedy is good. The comedy is good in the episode. So
it's funny. For what it is, I think like the point it's making, if you like really want to get, artsy about it, I think it's kind of just saying exactly what the episode is that like technology's good, we just use it wrong because we're stupid.
Yeah.
So it's like that fits with the show. Okay, it's not like anything new. I've seen that done a million times. But for what it is, I like it. I don't have too much to say about it other than that it's funny and enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
But I understand if it's low for you.
It's just simple. That's what, and I like I said, I like when they have more of the things to make me think, but I do like your interpretation of it too. And I do think there's a lot of truth to the fact that it's just like, oh, we just use things willy-nilly just because it just becomes a part of our everyday life. Yeah, and that plays into the tropes of what they're going with.
Yeah, they do, what is it? 3 Robots is the one they like have had a sequel to. It's the 3 robots walking around.
Yeah.
This felt like they're like this volume's version of that, where it's like, we're going to have a bunch of robots talk about how like stupid people are. But honestly, I was so sick of the 3 robots, so I prefer this one, and I think that also bumps it up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Number 8 for me is Can't Stop.
Okay, I think, let me check. I think I have the exact same. Yep, number 8.
Okay, so Can't Stop is the lowest rated episode in the history of Love, Death, and Robots. It's at a 4.5, I think it is. And again, very simple. Like, it's literally just taking footage from a performance of the song Can't Stop by the Red Hot Chili Peppers at in Ireland, but they do it with this kind of marionette kind of animation style. And part of the reason I liked that in particular was because DC announced a year ago that they were making this like Robin project that had a similar kind of animation style mixed with live action, mixed with CG. And I had never seen anything like that before. And again, the concept it's not even a concept. It's just literally replaying what happened in that footage.
Mhm.
But I thought the animation was really cool looking, and it was different than something I've seen.
Yeah.
But again, there's not really anything there other than and I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So like
Right.
in general, I'm like, oh, this is fun. I'm just listening to watching a music video
Mhm.
essentially.
So I'm in the same boat as you. I think if the Red Hot Chili Peppers posted this on YouTube, I would go, wow, that was a really cool music video. I liked
Yeah.
that. David Fincher directed that. Neat.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is in an anthology series
Yes.
that has nothing to do with the Red Hot Chili Peppers
Mhm.
or music, really, generally. And it's just a music video. I like music videos. I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I even like the song. But like, what is it doing here?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It doesn't belong in Love, Death, and Robots. I think that's my problem with it. Is that I like can't compare it to the other episodes, but I didn't hate it. So that's kind of why it's low for me.
Yeah.
It's because I'm like, okay.
I think for Fincher, it was probably something where he was like, I really want. Maybe he's friends with Anthony Kiedis and Flea and stuff, and he's like, oh, I really want to. He's like, I have this concept. This is like one of my favorite live performances ever, but I really want to do it animated, and like, I don't know where I would place this. Like, we're not going to release a music video for this 22 years after the performance.
Right.
So let me just shoehorn it in a show that I executive produce on Netflix that has to do with animation.
Yeah, it kind of seems like Fincher just liked the Red Hot Chili Peppers and was like, I can bang this out. Like, I'll make a fucking cool ass music video.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, we don't want you to do that. And he was like, what if I put it on Netflix? And they're like, all right.
Yeah, all right.
So
do it.
maybe that's what
fine.
happened. I don't know. I don't really care. Like I said, I'm a Fincher apologist. So him being like, I like this band, I'm gonna make a music video of them. I'm like, cool. I just don't know why it's here, but whatever. It doesn't offend me. I'm just like, all right, sure.
Yeah, it's like you said, it just doesn't really have a place among some of the other episodes that have been in the series before. So there's not really much else to say about it.
Mhm.
And you said that was your number 8,
That
right?
was my number 8.
We already gave your number 9, right? So like, give me your number 7.
So my number 7 is the Screaming of the Tyrannosaur.
Okay, very close to where I have it, but I don't have a 7.
All right. Mr. Beast is in this episode. Vinny just laughed because I bet you didn't know, dude. Mr. Beast has made his appearance.
Is
in Love,
Mr.
Death, and
Beast the
Robots.
first
He's the host.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
the guy that goes, "Welcome, everyone," and it's basically Beast Game Season 2 is what I called this episode. I have a little note under every title of like what it is. Beast Game Season 2. This is what Mr. Beast wants. This is what he's going for. He wants to have people on a ring outside of Jupiter fighting dinosaurs to the death. He's coming for you. Anyway, the episode, it's all right.
It's fine. It's high production value. It's epic and its scale.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things that we talked about in the beginning where I was like, I would have liked to see more of the world. I like the way that they build the world out. We don't get much from our lead character other than the wolf pack kind of thing.
Yeah, she's got a weird thing going on where it does feel like they wanted to give her like a 10-minute backstory before the episode starts, but they didn't have the time to. So it keeps cutting like a wolf running. And then, she's Mandarin, which I think is like interesting because everyone's speaking different languages and has different cultures. It's like on a weird like moon in Jupiter. So it's like, what's that about? You know? And like, who are these people? So you're right. It is cool conceptually. There's also dinosaurs. Like, all right, fuck yeah.
I
dude.
mean, yeah. When
Dinosaurs.
the T-Rex came out, I was like, this is sick. This is sick.
Yeah, it's cool. The T-Rex comes up. It's an albino T-Rex. What this needed was like some cool fucking music, I think. I think this needed like a banging soundtrack. They should have got like Nick Gordon, who did Doom, to come on like this one. That could have made it an all-time.
That would have been sick.
Unfortunately, I don't even remember there being music. Or if there is, it's just like loud horns. So
yeah.
Like, so it's just kind of like whatever. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't have like too strong of an emotion towards it. I also think Mr. Beast, he did okay.
Yeah.
I was worried when I first heard him. I was like, this man's going to throw.
Again, obviously not a Mr. Beast guy because I didn't even realize that it was him. But I knew he was promoted for the season, but I forgot or I didn't even look to see where he was in it.
So that's him. He does kind of try to do a voice. It sort of seems like it varies on the line.
Yeah.
I think like whoever was directing him was probably like, oh my God, Mr. Beast is here, and like was like worried to correct him. Because like 80% of his lines are really good, and then 20% sounds like he's just talking during Beast games. But I mean, whatever. It didn't take me out of it. I was expecting going into it like, I'm not gonna be able to focus because fucking Mr. Beast is here, and I'm gonna keep going. Oh, look, it's Mr. Beast, and it's gonna rub it in my face. It didn't really do that.
Yeah.
Was he the one that gets eaten by the Tyrannosaurus at the end?
No, that was the couple that they were like, I guess, the king and queen
right.
that were coming, and that they would be drinking the blood of the of the dinosaurs in the end.
That lost a point for me, dude. I think they should have eaten Mr. Beast. That would have been hard. That would have gone hard as hell if they had Mr. Beast get eaten by a
They don't want to
T-Rex.
make that statement because Netflix still wants to work with them in the future.
Yeah, but I mean, they were like, hey, we're gonna make you the host of a game show where people are like competing and fighting to the death, and you're gonna love it. And he was like, okay, and he didn't see like the implications.
Yeah,
whatever, it's all right. It's okay. Sorry, Mr. Beast.
This was Netflix probably also being upset that they didn't get the rights to Beast games, so they were like, yeah, but we really want your name recognition, so we'll throw you in. You want a voice role and Love, Death, and Robots? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of cool. I'll just do whatever. Yeah. That's the overall thought process on that. But I have that episode ranked 6th, so it's right above what my number 7 is, which is Close Encounters of the Mini Kind.
Let me see if that's mine.
6?
Yeah, it's my 6th.
Look at that. We're on a great wavelength right now.
We're generally pretty.
We're right there.
Pretty neck and neck.
I like miniatures. I like the concept that they've done with this in the past. Mm-hmm. This, I think, is the best executed of the minis that they've done.
Yeah, so they did this in the zombie one.
Yes. Right. And they might have done one more, but I think you're right. It might just be the 2. Mm-hmm. This one's longer. It plays out over a period of time, and it's literally, again, it's just like this crazy story of aliens coming to Earth. I love the opening.
Me too.
Of this, running from the cops, ducking, having the one cop shoot the other one, leading to this all-out war between aliens and people, and seeing how people can band together, get their hands on the equipment, and still manage to fuck things up.
There was this meme going on around when Invincible was airing about how people have adrenaline, and the idea was that aliens will not have adrenaline, so it's like the indomitable human spirit, and it was like human propaganda was going around. This episode gave me that vibe of people just being like fuck these alien scum, and just blowing them up and shit. I really enjoy the humor in both of the minis.
Yeah, I agree.
Think it's really fun, like obviously insane and like graphic. There's always some weird part of these episodes where like, I don't know if it's this one or the one with the zombies, but a guy is like trying to have sex with a cow, I think at one point, and then gets abducted. That's this one. That is this one, right? This one. Yeah, so like that's crazy. The war starts because the main alien is like, we come in peace, and then moves his robe and he has a giant penis and they shoot it off. So it's like ridiculous and really dumb, but it's like quirky enough to be fun for me. Where I'm like, all right, yeah.
It's a filler episode, but it's a fun enough filler episode that you're like, oh, okay, and it makes the transition to the next episode feel better.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, this was fun. It was again, not crazy in terms of concept, but the animation is fun. It's different than the other things we see.
Yeah, it has stellar art direction.
Yes.
I mean, like the POV of this being like a god's eye constantly or a bird's eye, and it's just like really, really zoomed out, and everyone's running around going like moving fast. It's just great. Like I love the style of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really fun. So that will bring us to our top 5. I'm very curious on how our top 5s are gonna play out.
Okay.
My number 5 is For He Can Creep.
Ooh, okay. So my number 5 is the other cat one, but we'll talk about For He Can Creep.
Okay.
So that's my number 3. Okay. I quite like For He Can Creep.
Yeah,
I think
it's a good one. This is where I think it starts going from like all the other ones are like, oh, it's like fun, it's okay, to like this is a really good concept. This is something where the animation is really cool. It's just missing a couple things to be fully executed for me.
I agree. I think from here on out, this like second half of the volume, I think is way better than the first half. For He Can Creep, I think I just love the style of this episode.
Like the animation style.
Yeah, the animation style, what they do with the title cards, and like the way it's kind of like snappy, just really endeared me to it. Because it's a very like silly concept. It's a cat and
fighting against Satan.
Yeah, he's fighting Satan. Great idea for an episode. I was all on board with that. He has a poet basically that the cat is friends with. And Satan wants the poet to write an evil manifesto. And if the cat allows Satan to do this, he will get treats. Great. Okay. Yeah. I'm all about that. And they play it super dramatically. It has...
but it has comedy. It has natural comedy to it.
Yes. It has very, very funny scenes. It has music from like... what is it? Mozart, I think they're playing. It's probably like Bach or something. Somebody in the comments is gonna go it's actually Tchaikovsky, and get mad at me. But yeah, they have like really good orchestral music that soundtracks the whole thing. The cat characters are fun. They don't overstay it. It doesn't overstay its welcome at all. I was really fond of this one. I think it's really fun.
Yeah, I like the setting too. Putting us in like the 18th century of England, I think is really fun conceptually.
In an asylum.
Yes, I think the animation is probably might be my favorite animated episode of the season. I like how it's different than some of the other, because I can't remember another episode that had a similar animation style to this one.
This is as close as you get to Spider-Verse.
Yes.
In Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah.
It almost it reminded me a lot of Arcane when I was watching it, which is another.
I still
Netflix
haven't
show.
watched. I know I have to watch.
Arcane.
I know people love
Everybody
it.
watching. If you like Love, Death, and Robots, watch Arcane. That's the shit. But yeah, it has like a similar-ish style. Arcane looks a lot better, but this one is like stylized more, so it kind of balances out.
Yeah. If I redid my list, I might have this higher.
Yeah, I'm big on this.
Yeah,
one.
I like this one a lot. This
one
is
had
a really
the
good
most
one.
Charm for me.
I would agree with that. Probably had this is my second favorite comedy. The one I have right above it is another comedic one. But and so what did you have 5?
So my number 5 is The Other Large Thing.
That's what I had 4.
Great. Okay. So this one shouldn't work. I think like when I watched it, I was like, this should be really dumb and I shouldn't like it. But the whole time I liked it, and even when it ended, I was like, yeah, that was fun. I liked that a lot. I don't know the guy's name. And
I have the name. Is it the cat? The one that's the cat? Chris Parnell.
Right. So Chris Parnell.
He's great. SNL alum. He's a great voice actor.
Yeah, he's incredible. I recognized him as Jerry from Rick and Morty. Him voicing like a malicious cat is just really funny.
By the name of Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez the cat.
Great cat name.
Yeah, so basically the plot of this episode is that Sanchez the cat has 2 buffoon owners who are really just there for like physical gross out comedy. They kind of walk around and are literally like bumbling idiots. And Sanchez hates them. But then the bumbling idiots get a robot that can communicate with Sanchez. He can understand the cat language. And Sanchez immediately decides that he's going to take over the world with this robot and then goes about doing that. And, that's pretty much the extent of it, but it's really fun.
Yeah, it feels like it would be a plot for like an Adult Swim show.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, like conceptually as a short, it works really well. Going back really quick to, because I want to say this too, for He Can Creep, I also think that it works like the best as a short for like a short idea like you were talking about. I think it works probably the best out of all of these.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
that's fair. This one felt like there could be a sequel to it. Like I could watch
I think it kind of also feels like a prequel to 3 Robots.
Oh,
like it's
true. It probably is.
Yeah, it probably is.
I didn't even think about that because that one is all about how like cats took over the world and destroyed everybody, right?
So yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
That might
so they keep building off of that little world.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I don't have too much to say. It's not thematically complex or anything, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's funny though. Yeah. I think it's funny. All right. So then my 3 was Spider Rose.
Okay.
Which you had 9.
Yeah.
So and you already said your 3 was for He Can Creep, right?
Yep, my 3 is for He Can Creep. I'm just making sure I didn't skip over.
So I think we have the same top 2.
Yes, we do. But in what order?
I feel like it's the same.
My number 2, 400 Boys.
Same. Look at this, Sean. High five across the table.
Love it. You got it. There we go. Microphone.
You start with 400 Boys because we actually were texting. We texted when we got halfway through the season, and we both were like, a little disappointed, but we both were talking about how much we really liked 400 Boys.
Is cool. So 400 Boys, it's the same animation style and presumably studio that did the one with the ice whales about a volume or 2 ago, and Zima Blue, which is the best episode of the show. These guys, they cook every time.
They're so good.
Yeah,
dude.
they're good. I love their style. They are always making crazy, awesome worlds. I don't know if this is based on something or if this is just like an original thing that they threw out there. But there's so much like culture to this world. Like it's so complex. Like there's like a gang history built up. I think it's implied to be in space or like on a colony somewhere. It's not Earth. It's like weirdly British, but like, space British. Yeah, I don't know. It's just really fucking cool. And then there's giant baby like monsters, and people are referring to them as a gang. Like in this world, street violence is so crazy that like the idea of like giant babies coming as gods is like, yeah, they're just another gang. They're trying to take my turf. It's like, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I agree. Now, I just read something on IMDb, which is shocking to me. This is the 3rd lowest ranked episode of the season.
What?
So whoever's doing that, I'm sorry. I think you're incorrect. Like you already said, the world building and the animation is what are major standouts to me. This felt like they were doing a British version of one of my favorite cult classic movies ever, The Warriors.
Oh,
in like a postmodern world, and I thought it was so great the way they were able to bring everything together. I love the rollerblading girls. Again, it reminded me of like the roller skating clowns in Warriors. And when you get the reveal of these giant babies are the ones that are essentially destroying their worlds, and the violence that takes place and how they kind of win in the end, I thought was really cool. Like the whole action sequence and the building up to it.
Yeah,
this is one where I think they could make like a feature length movie out of this.
I agree.
And it would be so fun.
There's a lot here that I wanted explored. There's one part of this episode that I didn't really love, and that's when they go and see all the roller skating ladies. I think they're cool, but there's like it literally feels like 6 seconds where they're like, we have to go meet the Oracle or whatever.
It's rushed. It becomes rushed in the first half to get everybody together to eventually have that longer sequence.
They go into this room and there's like an old lady there and she's like, the prophecy or something, and then it just cuts away and it's like never brought up again. But it's like I would have liked if that had more to it. Like I wanted to hear about the prophecy. I wanted to know what the Oracle was up to. Who are these roller skating ladies, dude?
I wanted to know more about Crybaby.
True, Crybaby.
Like cool. Crybaby as a character, and then having that big moment where he can be the one to help overcome is again conceptually. There's just a lot deep. Again, there's deeper themes. They build out literal characters in like a 15-minute point, and it's remember, like awesome.
The guy who they find from the rival gang, and they had like prior beef.
Yes,
he has the scar on his face. He's like, "Oh, remember when you gave me this?" or whatever. And then the other dude that they find, this like rival gang member, is like, we'll settle this one day, but we gotta take out the 400 boys, and it's just hype. Dude. The whole time I was watching, it's like hell yeah.
I also got like Snatch vibes from it. Like, if they made this like if this again, I would love to see like a feature length animated version of this. But if they ever made like a live action version of whatever their story would be, I was like, that's Guy Ritchie. Guy Ritchie's directing that movie, 100%.
Yeah, it's just really cool. I like this a lot. I think the action's cool, the animation's awesome, the like style and culture that they're kind of building in this is awesome. Yeah, I don't have too many complaints. I think this is a really good one.
I agree. That leads us to our number one.
Number one.
How Zeke Got Religion.
Banger.
What an absolute awesome episode.
Yeah, dude. This shit fucking rocks. So when Love, Death, and Robots is at its best, I usually walk away from it going like, damn, that shit was awesome. And that's this one. This is the best one in the volume. Clears by far. I don't know what Screen Rant is who you have.
They have it. Yeah, I looked at it. They have it. They have it number 2.
Nah, wrong. Incorrect. Best one. And you know what? Letterboxd is also wrong. Letterboxd has this weird thing where if any show, movie, whatever you're reviewing has soldiers in it or Christianity, they get mad about it. This has both. It's a banger, dude. It's a banger. All right, let's break it down.
You break it down.
Yeah. What do we love about this episode? So animated. I mean, one of my favorite animations in the whole show. It's beautiful. It's 2D. But it feels 3D because of the movement and the way that the camera is like zooming in and out. It has like a dolly zoom at one point. It's a fucking 2D animation with a dolly zoom where it's like the monster like first gets in the plane, spoilers, that like it zooms in, and he's like, it pulls back. It's just great. Like it looks fantastic. The concept I'm in love with because not only is it cool on a plot level, but thematically the idea of a soldier finding God through like a harrowing war experience, that's like real stuff.
With a supernatural being.
Yeah.
That is summoned with religion.
Right. It just summoned. Yeah. All right. So, and the Nazis summoning an evil archangel by killing priests.
With a baby face.
With a baby face. I mean, it's just gnarly.
It is. It's crazy.
Gnarly. I'm like so head over heels with it. I'll let you go because I will just keep.
Well, one of the things that I think it also does so well is the sound design. Like I think the sound in this episode is remarkable. How contained you feel in that space in an animated episode of something. Like you're in the plane with them and you're feeling all of it, and you're just like, oh my god, man! Like how are they going to survive this shit?
Yeah.
That's like my littlest complaint about it is that like they like somehow they're like, oh, there's like 3 of us and we're still gonna fly it home. I'm like, all right, dude, come on.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
Yeah, but again, conceptually as an episode, I think it's great. The fact that the guy, our main character, is so nonchalant about everything. And then we get to this point where he is literally scared shitless into believing in religion when it seemed like majority of everybody else on the plane was always praying for the fact to get through war. And he was just like, nah, I'm cool with like, just give me my chocolates and I'll fucking shoot some Nazis.
There's just so much cool stuff about this episode. Like, well, I love the scientist guy who's meant to lead the mission because Zeke is sort of like an Ellen Ripley in this episode where he's not the main character for most of it. it's really this like scientist guy who has the pocket watch.
The compass.
Or the compass, right? And he's looking at it. And he's like, wait, hold on, wait. And then he gives them like the hint when they start praying, and he's like, no, it just pisses it off or whatever. It's like sick. And then he's immediately killed. So we're left in the dark as to what the fuck this thing is. And you have to figure out through the action that the only thing that's impacting it is this cross. And the cross is kind of the main character because we're always following where that cross is going. It's like
the POV,
across the plane, and as it's flipping, you see it in the background, and it bounces from character to character. And I love the way that the monster is defeated, where they throw the cross at the monster and then shoot a bullet that goes through the cross and fucking kills
explodes
the demon.
it.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Dude.
I mean, I think it's definitely the most like this is the episode that I will return to, and I'll always think about with the season. And For He Can Creep is another one. So now I'm like, if I redid my list, I'd probably have that higher. But those are the two standouts. This one, just to me, it has that deeper theme, and it's like, man, I would love. Like, I think about. I didn't see the movie, but I think about. It was that movie. Was it Overlord? It was called?
I was thinking Overlord.
Okay,
yeah.
So like I haven't seen it, but I know the concept is like it's dealing with creatures in World War II or something like that. And like that is what like now I'm like I want to see a feature length version of what this would be.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Like it would be so interesting to see how they got to that point, the aftermath of how Zeke would deal with his religion, and if that would impact his life in any way. Like it just has those deeper themes that I would want to continue on with in Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, and you know what? I love a harrowing war story that doesn't have an explanation. It's such like a weird subgenre, I guess, of war movies, but there's a lot of them that have these like just unexplainable phenomenon that happens of people just coming away from something completely changed. It doesn't even have to be war; it could be anything. But those stories like really speak to me of just shit that you don't understand and then coping with it in whatever way that you can. And for these characters, it's God, which I think is effective, but it doesn't have to be. And I don't think you have to interpret it that way. You know, the religion aspect is specific to this episode, but I think if you want to look at it at a broader level, this is kind of something about a harrowing experience and how even if you don't understand it, you can come away from it and cope in a way that sort of vanishes or vanquishes the trauma, right? That's sort of like the theme or like the metaphor of this episode. And you couple something like that I think is really powerful with incredible animation, awesome action, and just like a great plot and concept. I think, dude, banger.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal episode. It's got horror, it's got thrilling elements, it's got action, like you said, religion, war. It's got adventure. There's so much to this episode.
Yeah, the cast is likable. There's like 15 guys on this plane, and every one of them, I feel like I got like a inkling of who they were. Yeah. Just in like the very brief lines. Like there's the guy that's always praying. There's Zeke, who's like cool and collected. There's the schizophrenic guy with the compass, who's like, oh, the creature, whatever. Yeah. The pilot is awesome. They keep cutting to the pilot, and his whole character is like, what the fuck is going on back there? Like the whole time. That's like great comedy. Yeah. Just freaking out. The monster is awesome.
Crazy looking.
Yeah, it's so cool. And it's changing always, which is so cool. Like it's a humanoid looking thing with like an angel baby mask, like a Cupid face almost. But then as it goes on and it's like getting hit, you have like hands coming out of it,
mouths coming out of it, screaming to
and it's like
disorient.
It's like, I'm doing this and like foaming around.
It's almost like a Cloverfield monster. It's like it's like a religious baby Cloverfield monster.
Yeah, dude, I love it. I really do. I was so obsessed with it. When it ended, I was like, oh man,
I wish the whole season was like this.
Yeah, I was like, I wish there was more of that. Yeah, it's just great.
Yeah, it's
great
really,
episode.
really good. Going over the rankings from Screen Rant, I'll go the same. I guess I'll go worst to best.
Okay.
So their 10 is Golgotha.
Correct.
9 is Close Encounters of the Mini-Kind. 8 is Can't Stop. So they have that on the mark with us. 7, Screaming of the Tyrannosaur.
Okay.
6, The Other Large Thing. 5, For He Can Creep. 4, Smart Appliances, Stupid Owners. 3, 400 Boys. 2, How Zeke Got Religion, and their number 1 is Spider Rose.
Really?
Yeah, that's where they have it.
Spider Rose is not better than,
I would agree.
How Zeke Got Religion.
I would agree.
You can make an argument that it's better than 400 Boys. I would hear that out. But I mean, How Zeke Got Religion, it's not even close.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that.
But whatever.
If we had to give a score for this season, where you think you would end up?
It's hard for me to rank anthologies.
Yeah, because every single one is entirely different.
Yeah, and it's not, a lot of the time it's not even the same crew that are on
It's not.
them,
Yeah, that's true.
So it's really, does it function? You could rank it in two ways, which is, one, does it function as a whole? Is like, do these pieces relate and transition into each other at a good pace? Not really, in my opinion, because I think the front half of this volume is loaded with bad episodes, and the latter half is loaded with all the ones I enjoy. We both talked about how Golgotha stopped us like dead in our tracks, and we had to take a break.
Yeah,
because the lead up to Golgotha is like, okay, there's a couple stinkers, there's a couple decent ones.
400 Boys might be in
400 Boys is before that.
Yeah, so that's like the one really good episode.
Yeah,
of the
so
front
you get
five.
like built up a little bit by 400 Boys, and then you get the stinker that is Golgotha. My second viewing, like after I came back to it after that one, I like breezed through it because I was like, wow, these are like all very enjoyable. I don't think I had like a single one that I put below positive when I was watching those. So overall, if I'm just looking at them like quality, I'd have to do like an average thing.
Yeah.
It's like a 6 out of 10.
That's exactly what I was gonna give.
Yeah, it's like I barely think that this is enjoyable. There's some ones in here that I would just recommend you skip if you watch to the end and you haven't seen the show. I would say like the bottom 3 that I ranked, maybe except for Spider Rose, which Scal likes, you can just skip them. Like, you don't really have to watch them. But the ones that are great here, like I think our top 3 are like, you should check these out.
You should check them out for sure. Really quick, fun, just at the end. So Zima Blue is your favorite episode across the whole entire series?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious on what your favorite was.
Can I guess on what yours is?
You can.
Is it Bad Traveling?
It is Bad Traveling.
I fucking knew it, dude. I know this man.
Well, it's. I just think conceptually, like another thing where it works so well. It's another Fincher, I believe,
yes,
too.
It is. That's why.
And the direction's so good.
That's why the Red Hot Chili Peppers one really disappointed me here.
Yeah.
It's because Fincher came off the cuffs of making that amazing one. I agree with you. That's like a top 3 for me.
Jabaro is also really good.
Oh,
Jabaro's
nuts.
really, really crazy.
That's the one with like
that was the end of
dancing
last
knight,
season.
the siren,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that one's fun.
That might be my brother's favorite, but yeah, again, I thought last season was really well done. So it's like coming off of that, we have a 3-year wait. Getting to this point, it's a bit upsetting, but
kind of okay.
Still, there are some bangers, so make sure you guys check it out. Let us know in the comments, what are your guys' thoughts? Give your rankings if you guys want, and you can leave your explanation on why you have your rankings there. See if you agree with me and Sean. We're kind of on the same. We're right there, in step with each other. But definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts. Give this video a like if you guys can, and subscribe to us here at the Culture Wave Media Network. We're covering a bunch of other things on the channel right now as well. We're finishing up our coverage of The Last of Us. We have all of our coverage of the full season 2 of Andor. We have movie reviews upcoming. We have interviews coming. We have film festivals coming. So there's a bunch of stuff you guys can check out. And you guys can also follow us on social media if you guys want to do that. All that stuff is below me in the video, and it's also in our YouTube description. So just signing off, I'm Darian Scalamoni.
I've been Sean.
And we'll see you guys next time.
This is The Culture.